Hey guys, welcome back to Scuderia Car Parts. My name's Dylan and I'm the head of tuning sales. If you're new here, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more, and if you enjoy this video, give it a like. So today we're looking at this, which is a Huracan Performante Spyder that we've installed Novitec Sports Springs and the Capristo Sports exhaust. So stick around. At the end, we're going to show you some clips of the car revving both before and after we installed the exhaust. So it's probably worth mentioning a little bit about what Scuderia Car Parts actually does, and we are a specialist within the UK in supplying aftermarket upgrades for performance cars. So not only are we the exclusive dealers of Novitec within the UK, but we also are the exclusive dealers of Capristo as well. We do sell both brands globally, but we are the only business within the UK that you can purchase those brands from. So that's the first strand of what we do. The second strand is we actually supply OEM replacement parts for brands such as Ferrari, Maserati and Lamborghini. So a little bit about the car itself. This is a Huracan Performante Spyder, which was first revealed at the 2018 Geneva Motor Show. This car's got 631 horsepower and the Spyder is good for 0 to 60 in about 3.1 seconds. Top speeds over 200 miles an hour. This thing is an animal that comes equipped with a 5.2 litre V10 engine, which is obviously, as we know, super unusual. The only things I can really think of that run that engine are the LFA, the Carrera GT, the Gallardo, the Huracan, and then the R8. So it's quite an unusual setup. So this thing has a fantastic noise as standard, but it does feel quite throttled, and that's one of the issues that we needed to overcome, was that as standard it sounds good, but you can tell it's limited, and Capristo's solution is fantastic in evoking the real sound that the car's able to pull out. The next thing that we often find, and this is true of most cars that get delivered, is that the suspension is naturally very high, and this is to meet a whole bunch of homologation rules within certain markets. So cars typically tend to ride quite high, and a lot of people want to lower them slightly. So we've installed the Novitec Springs to conquer that problem, and the Capristo Sports exhaust to conquer the issue of the car sounding not quite as good as it possibly could. So one of the things that makes this car really unique is that this is the first car that Lamborghini deployed their active aero system on. So if you look over here, you can see the ALA symbol. That stands for an Italian phrase that I'm not even going to attempt to try and pronounce, but in its simplest form, what it does is it directs air out the back of the car, either over or under the wing, depending on how much drag you want the car to achieve. What we'll do is we'll link a video below of Engineering Explained, who goes into some real detail about how this works, but it's really, really clever, and it helped contribute to making this one of the fastest production cars around the Nürburgring. So the Capristo Sports exhaust is really, really unique in its configuration for a couple of reasons. So fundamentally what it is it's a twin channel sports exhaust, which means that there is a loud and a quiet channel. So the way that this works is when you've got the valves closed, you're in the quiet channel, and the exhaust gases come out the back of the engine through the cat, and then it enters the exhaust, and with the valves closed, it directs it through the silencer and then out the back of the car. And that allows you to be kind of discreet when you need to be. So if you want to start the car early in the morning, or you're driving through town and you don't want everyone breaking their neck looking at you while you're driving past, close up the valves and you're actually relatively sedate. The other channel is really, really trick, and the reason that that's the case is because it employs an X-pipe, which is something we've spoken about to death. But when you open the valves, the exhaust gases come out the back of the engine through the cat, and it completely bypasses the silencer, and what it does is it goes through an X-pipe, which blends the two banks together, and as we've said a million times, when you collide these two sound waves together, you produce a whole bunch of harmonics, which lifts up the pitch. And when you've got an engine like this that naturally produces such an incredible tone, when you run that through an X-pipe, you get a real unfettered motorsport howl, which is what we all sort of know and love and want to achieve from a sports exhaust. So as I mentioned earlier, we've installed Novitec Sports Springs on this car to lower it. Installation super simple. You literally just take off the old springs from the dampers, put the new ones on, and then set the ride height. And the one thing that we always insist on is when we do the installations, we always carry out a full geometry realignment on the suspension, just to make sure that the car handles absolutely perfectly. One of the most common concerns that people have when they're installing these on their car is whether their front nose lift will still work. The answer is yes, and what we'll do now is I will show you the lift going up with these springs on it. The next major concern that most customers tend to have is whether this is or isn't going to affect the quality of their ride. So a lot of people assume if I put sports springs on the car, it's suddenly going to like rattle my teeth out of my mouth, and that's just not the case. And that's, you know, true for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we never slam the cars. You can, if you want, lower it by like 50, 60 mil, but that's way too low, and we'd never recommend that, and that will affect the quality of the ride. You know, what we're looking to do, we don't want to make the car look like it's out of Fast and Furious. We just want to close the wheel arch gaps a little bit to make it look a bit more sensible. So that's the first thing, you know, we're never going to push the suspension to its limits. The second thing is that these springs are what's called variable rate. And that means that when the car is being driven, you know, normally through town or whatever, super compliant, really plush, and you're going to get a really nice quality of ride. But when you start loading up the suspension and you start cornering aggressively or braking or accelerating, you'll find that the body just stays a lot more planted. You're going to get a lot less roll from side to side when you're cornering, and you're going to get a lot less diving or pitching up of the nose when you're braking or accelerating. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. What we're going to do is we're going to cut to a couple of shots of this car revving both before and after it had the exhaust installed, and we'd love to hear in the comments below what you guys think. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.